This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. I've covered this topic before, and I'm going to continue to cover it as more information comes out. When I first covered it, everybody said there's no way they're actually going to go through with this and build this. And I documented recently before, of course, the channel was taken down. I recently documented, some other YouTubers' channel was taken down, the beginning of the construction for what is going to be called the world's largest city, but in reality, it's the world's largest prison. And that is the thing known as the Line. Of course, this thing is being marketed as super futuristic, utopian. There'll be equity and equality. You won't have to worry about all these things that they tell people they should worry about when they don't actually exist. The media is the one who creates it. A huge deception, and conveniently this thing is placed in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, so you can't escape, but they're telling people that there's a reason that it's put there, and it's a good reason, right? Yeah, sure. People are going to be shipped into this, and to be honest with you, the people who willingly go to this, good luck to you. I feel no sympathy whatsoever, because a lot of these people out there who identify as liberals are going to love this. They're not going to have to pay rent. Do you pay rent in a prison cell? No, you won't have to pay rent here. You'll probably be wearing a uniform. It might not be an orange jumpsuit, but it'll be something very similar. Of course, you'll be under 24/7 surveillance as you would in a prison cell, but they'll tell you that you're free, and they'll tell you you can work and you could sleep in the same space and you can mingle with other people on a set schedule. And every once in a while, we'll let you actually go outside to see the sun, but you probably won't see the sun because it'll be artificial. Yeah, that's right, because they are even talking about their artificial moon, flying taxis, and all this other stuff. They've already poured in billions of dollars into this project, which you're going to see in the video clip I play for you. And you're going to see these psychopaths who have decided that, instead of using this money to help world hunger and all these things, they're using this money to create a giant prison cell that they're going to use as a way to, the marketing behind it is going to manipulate people into willingly going to these things, that it's a wonderful world. It's like Disney World on acid. You could go there. It's a prison cell. And $500 billion has gone into this. It's a smart city for the most part, but really it's a smart prison cell. So this is a video clip that they recently uploaded to their YouTube channel. I'm playing it for you here. Take a look at this. Listen to the music in the background. Listen to how they talk. If they marketed going to jail the same way, these idiots would fall for it. If they were like, come on down to your local prison. It's so nice. You get a free bed and a free meal, and nobody's going to bother you and hurt your feelings in this prison. And people will be like, oh, that sounds great. I don't even have to pay rent anymore, and I get free food because I'm struggling to pay. Is there heat? Is there air conditioning? There sure is. Well, it's the same exact thing, but of course, they're going to portray it as Disneyland, as a utopian world where no one's going to argue with each other. Everyone's going to be wonderful. Yeah, sure. Take a look at this hell on earth.
The Line is going to change things for the better because we can implement global best practice into every element of the city.
We are working with the best architects and planners from around the world in order to take all of the learnings we've inherited from other cities and create a new city from scratch.
At The Line, we're working on building an urban model which provides unprecedented livability, a model for nature preservation and sustainability, all while providing a unique environment for economic growth. I am Tariq Qadoumi, and I am the Executive Director of Urban Planning at NEOM.
I am Giles Pendleton, and I am the Executive Director for the Line Proponent.
I'm Salwa Al-Khudairi, and I'm a Senior Architect at NEOM Urban Planning.
My name is Michio Kaku. I'm a professor of theoretical physics, and I'm also a futurist. What will a city of the future look like? When I was a child, I used to think about the city of the future. Are we going to have flying cars? Are we going to visit the moon and Mars? When I grew up, I began to look at these cities like Paris, London, New York, and I saw traffic jams. I saw pollution. I saw tremendous inequalities. And I said to myself, we can do better. We can create, perhaps out of the desert, a city that would be sustainable, livable, a city of the future. The Line shows us a new way of doing things, a new pattern by which we can make a livable future.
Placemaking to me is about creating the canvas for community.
It's about creating spaces for people to want to visit and live in.
A place that cares for its society.
Many demographers think that the cities of the future will contain about 50 million people. That's not livable at all. At The Line, we are working on creating a template by which we can create cities of the future. That's where jobs are. That's where opportunities are. And so placemaking to me is about creating a legacy, creating a template by which other nations can then compare their cities, their plans with what's being done here in Saudi Arabia. So what are we looking at here?
So we're looking at the line as a whole. The line spans across 3 different geological regions. So we have the coastal desert, the mountain, and the upper valley. It starts out at 500 meters height, and then slowly, as the topography rises, it disappears into the mountains. We have the hidden marina. This is where we're starting construction. We bring in a canal from the Red Sea to create a bay.
All this is sustainable, right?
NEOM itself is 100% renewable energy. We produce energy through solar, wind, and hydrogen. We also have 100% sustainable water, meaning we take out water through desalination from the sea.
Right.
However, we don't dump the brine back into the sea. So we use that salt and we recycle it, making the process very sustainable. So this is a section of the line. You're going to have the mirror. This is where the mobility at height is going to be happening. This is your neighborhood, for example, right?
And where are the shops where people can go shopping
So
for things?
all of here is shops, right?
Shops,
So
yeah.
where your public space is, these that could be office spaces, right? Where people
Right.
come down for lunch and sit outside. And basically you're 5 minutes away from your daily needs, meaning your school, your nursery.
It makes life very convenient then, right? Everything's within walking distance. Like Midtown Manhattan, you're within walking distance of everything.
Of everything.
Within Midtown. But outside of that is hell.
It gets worse
The
and worse.
commuting is incredible
Exactly.
to get to that Midtown Manhattan. So this is where all the action takes place.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Absolutely. So this is
Okay.
representative of an 800-meter wide module, 500 meters tall. These lights demonstrate what a mobility corridor would do. So as you can see, we have no ground floor. The subway is at multiple heights. And that allows you to potentially, if you're in a unit here, you can either go up to a subway or down to a subway.
So if I live here, then the 5-minute rule would be around here?
Yeah, so 5-minute rule is generally 400 meters, vertically and horizontally, and literally across. So we live in a 3-dimensional city. The 5-minute rule is really a function of achieving your daily needs.
And no cars. This
No
is
cars.
amazing. No cars.
Yes, I think that the principle of the module is about community. You don't enjoy or become part of community by driving past in a car. So the idea is to encourage our residents and visitors to explore the city on foot.
So your world, with all your basic needs, are met within 5 minutes of your living unit. Like Lego blocks, if you stack these modules one after the other, you get the line.
Absolutely.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for such an illuminating discussion of the future. Thank you for the opportunity of interacting with the individuals that have made this possible and of actually going to the site itself. It's an experience that you cannot put on a sheet of paper. To see all the bulldozers, the cranes, the hundreds of workers, they're working on a project that they believe in because this is part of their future. But now I'd like to ask some questions. What gave you the inspiration to take on a challenge this big?
The scale was the first thing that got me interested, and I think part of the overall vision around a cognitive and sustainable city, and those are 2 lenses I've traditionally seen a lot of my career through.
One of my biggest sort of motivations behind this project is for us to continue in our effort to preserve as much of nature as possible and to create a city that can sit side by side with everything that people need on a daily basis and everything that the economy needs to thrive.
I think working on such a radical and I would say challenging project, every minute of every day counts. We all know it. So I think that sense of responsibility is what really drives me.
And Giles, everyone wants to create a legacy. So what are your goals?
The legacy of the line will be that we will start to look at buildings and suburbs in a different way. So can we save time and get more accurate, less waste, more sustainable? And I think the modular thing is really going to be a big part of the success of the line.
I think what we do is the legacy that we leave behind. I think what the line does is that creates an equality which we've rarely seen before around the world, providing equal health care to all of the residents that live on the line, equal access to education, higher education.
So what are some of the challenges and some of the solutions that you guys have come up with?
The line allows us a unique opportunity to placemaking at height.
Our challenges on the line are not to eliminate the bad stuff because that's already not there. I think our challenge is always how do we make it better?
We have, of course, the rule book of how to build cities and how to build buildings and so on and so forth. But this project rewrites the book.
Absolutely. We are right now designing the line differently. We're using AI extensively to model out, and that disruptive technology is allowing us to compute consequences of our design decisions very quickly.
So, and as an example, some of the institutions that we're working with are redeveloping their two-dimensional AI models that mapped how people move in a city and where the hotspots are and where the sort of main traffic happens into models that now work in 3 dimensions. The kind of work we have to put into it is intense. So we work with people who model movement in cities, people who study neurourbanism, which is measuring human response to height, human response to certain proximity to people. So we're getting that people enjoy seeing greenery and seeing views that are almost surreal in nature. We're building a city not slowly and incrementally. We're building a city at once that is of a different typology.
Salwa, it's sometimes said that where the youth goes, there goes our future. How does the line play in terms of how the young Saudis view the future?
So the team that I work with is made up of a sample of the young Saudi generation. And I can tell you that the ambition and the drive that we wake up with every day is unshakable. The line and NEOM and Saudi in general is giving us the freedom to invent, to innovate, and really think purposefully and thoughtfully.
We're looking at diversification of industry and economy as well. And NEOM plays a major role in that. It's going to bring new technology, new industry, and new services, whether financial or tourism, into the kingdom and as part of that 2030 vision.
Well, in conclusion, I'd like to say that, well, you convinced me, folks. I mean, I'm sold. I think you guys are actually talking about something that's going to affect the destiny of civilization itself. A new architecture, a new way of thinking, a new way of organizing ourselves, a new way of living. People are going to say to themselves, wow, something new is happening in Saudi Arabia. They've taken the lead. They're thoughtful. They're planning, and they're going to enrich our lives. And so on behalf of, well, everybody, I'd like to thank you so much for giving us a new vision, a vision of our future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
I teach in the United States, and learning the history, there were waves looking to create utopia. Many of them failed. But why? They were not sustainable. They did not create enough money, resources, food to sustain the economy, to keep their vision alive. Well, that's where I think the line comes in. The line has made sustainability one of its key foundations. This time, we have a good shot at making it happen. A city created to address the problems of pollution, overcrowdedness, inequalities. So in other words, we are creating the future of the human race.
So that's the future. This is what it holds. This is what they're preparing people for. And this is why the governments of the world are all funding this project, right? They're funding it and they're telling you that, oh, the Saudi Arabia unveiled new pictures from the neon mega city. Human rights groups might have concerns about the city's plans for mass surveillance, but we're going to tell you why mass surveillance is needed. And what are they going to tell you? They're going to say there's no crime. There's nobody's feelings getting hurt. Don't worry that we're monitoring you. Of course, you could sit there and be the most perfect person in there. You don't have to hurt anyone's feelings. But the second you decide that you want to leave, well, we'll be filming you and we'll hear you whisper to somebody else and say you want out. And it's not as great as you think. And then we'll come and we'll taser you. Yeah, like a prison guard with a club. Same difference. Same difference. And of course, you'll be out in the middle of a desert. So when you try to escape, well, two things will happen. Number one, no one will be able to see you because it's a giant mirror in the desert, which is pretty much the definition of a mirage. So no one will be able to locate you out there, right? That's conveniently why it's being built the way it is, right? As a giant mirror. And of course, you'll be in the middle of the desert. So, trying to get out of the desert on foot, you got about 12 hours max. You'll probably die of dehydration very, very quickly. And of course, even if you try to escape, there'll be a wall of security waiting for you to make sure that you don't. But of course, these people hear these types of things. The people who want this type of society, they want to turn America probably into this. They think it's wonderful. They think it's great because it helps the environment. And that's all they need to be told is that it helps the environment. They don't know how it helps the environment. None of these people do. They just told that it helps the environment. So everybody goes, oh, it helps the environment. They don't go, hey, how come Bill Gates and all these guys fly around in private jets? And that's supposed to be the worst possible thing for the environment. And they don't care about that. They just care about imprisoning their fellow man. Right? And that's what they want to do because they're soldiers for the elites. That's how communism works. So Saudi Arabia has begun building this. You can see them building it. Prince Mohammed has ambitious plans for this prison and hopes to attract 100 million visitors to the kingdom each year. Right? Notice how they're calling it a kingdom. It's going to be 10,500 or 10,200 square miles. Yeah, of desert. Yeah. Sound like a really great thing? No, it's not. People need to be warned about this because they're going to usher people into these. All right. This is the first one. This will be the experiment. How many people willingly go? How many people sign up? They'll use things like, ooh, did you know that they have coral reefs out there? You could go scuba diving. Oh my gosh, it sounds like a vacation, right? No, that'll be the equivalent. Going scuba diving in the water will be the equivalent to rec time for prison inmates, right? They'll be like, oh, but we're free here. Oh, you're free. Yeah, in a smart city, you're really free. No, you're not free. You're free to roam. You have more space than a cell. That's true because you'll have a couple more square feet in your actual room, which you'll be locked into because there'll be curfews and you won't be allowed to leave. But they'll tell you that's for your betterment because you need X amount of sleep. It's to prevent crime or anything else. And, and everyone will just go along. Oh, is that why we're locked in our rooms? Okay. Okie dokie, that sounds great. Oh, we're going to the coral reef for an hour once a week? I can't wait. Oh, right, the prisoners do that. Called rec time, same thing. Oh, you gonna feed us? Yeah, we're gonna feed you this slop that we made in a petri dish. You hungry? Eat up. There's some bugs in it too. Yay. They will sign up, the suckers will, of course, for this, and people will be ushered into them eventually over time. People won't have a choice in some cases because what they're doing with food and the water, they won't be able to get supply. So they'll say, well, you could come here. As you heard the guy say, right, they're going to drain the ocean and distill the water and do all that stuff, with the ocean water. So there's endless amounts, but you got to come to them, of course, to do it, right? Just like I covered recently, if you didn't see the video, well, we need to stop having well water because the Earth's axis is shifting. Just more BS from these people as to why they need to take away our water and our food. Nobody's suspicious, of course. Why would they be? These people care so much about us. They smile and they sound so politically correct. If they were on there going, no, we're going to enslave you, these people would probably still be like, oh, well, okay, sure. Do you vote liberal? Do you care about love wins? Are you supportive of Ukraine? Are you okay with kids castrating yourself? We are. Then I'm in. I love you too, and I'll come to your city because you're a good person. Huh? Yeah. Welcome to hell, ladies and gentlemen. They are moving forward with this prison. They are moving forward. They have no shame about it. And these people are going to willingly go. They're going to willingly imprison themselves. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. That's why these people are cracking up, these elites. They're cracking up They're like, we're going to make a giant prison cell, and they're going to go. Just imagine regular people showing up at prison, going to your local prison, wherever that might be, state prison, knocking on the door and being like, I would like to stay a couple weeks if I could. You have a spare room? They'd be like, whoa, this guy must be on fentanyl or something. This guy's on crack. He wants to come into the cell, right? Well, that's what this is. It's the same exact thing, but they put a nice little twist to it, right? Ooh, deep dive in the coral reef. Ooh, look how cool and futuristic it looks. Ooh, look at the technology in here. All right, all this technology to enslave you. And then when the locks go on your door at night, you're not supposed to be suspicious of it. It's for the betterment of you, right? And that's why I've covered these things like adults behaving like children, right? Because these adults aren't thinking. They're just trusting in Big Brother. As long as they have their comforts, like their toys. I'm talking about adults, their toys, their technology, then they're fine. And anyone who questions what Big Brother's doing, they're mean and hateful. Yeah? Well, the only way you're going to get me in one of these things is if you're dragging my dead corpse in there. And even then, I think I'll still resist. So keep an eye on this story. Keep an eye on the line. The construction's underway, as you see. They couldn't be prouder. And this is going to be the first of many of these prisons. But they're going to call them the world's largest cities, of course. Huh. Frightening, isn't it? I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.